Not today. Not tonight.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Greetings. Today we are talking about real estate investing with Dan Borrero and Kris Haskins. We are
You
getting
sound a little
prepared.
muffled, Chris.
I do?
Yeah.
This shit's super clean on my side. Make sure I got the right thing on. Hold on. Got the right thing on here. Sorry, y'all. Pro test. This is it. Y'all, if you can hear me, tell me if I'm muffled right now because this sounds super clean on my side, but it might not be. If I'm muffled, let me know, Dan.
Better.
Still, yes. 1, 2. I'm talking as clear as it's gonna be. If it's muffled, we'll have to restart it, get a new stream. Y'all, let me know if I'm muffled on the mic, and we'll do a new stream. How you doing, Dan Borrero?
What's going on, Mr. Haskins? Merry Christmas to you and everyone on here.
Yep. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Tonight, Dan and I are gonna just share some information with you. Dan, I got something for you. I had an associate of mine get 17 years.
Whoa.
Real estate investor, had several houses. We're gonna go over that case tonight.
I was unaware of this one. You caught me by surprise with this
I
one.
knew I was going to get your ass on this one. But we're still going to take calls. We're going to talk about what things we're doing in the real estate game, what has happened. Dan, I have had a tremendous week in business. Audio sounds good. Thank you. Dan, I had a lady call me. I don't know if she watches or not, but she says, Kris, can you close on my house today? Today. I want people to understand this. Tonight, we're talking about real estate investing. We're talking about how to make you better investors. And you know what, Dan? I think what I was thinking the other day, I was watching PBD. He said most entrepreneurs beat their chest, bang on their chest, how good they can be or how good of a closer they can be. But I think what makes Dan Borrero and me different, not saying that we're any better, we want you to close. Forget about us. We got it. We're thankful. I'm thankful. I know Dan's extremely grateful for everything we got. We do not necessarily need another house, right? We want to give y'all information. And Dan, let me speak for me, then you go. What really makes my heart sing is when I hear other people closing, Dan. What about you?
Man, I got to tell you the truth. My new currency is watching my mentees kick ass out there in the real
I'm
world.
telling you, man.
So, and you know a few of them. Eric Bellamy, he's up to 28 doors.
I love Eric. Eric's a monster.
Matthew Fuentes is up to like 9 doors. Hiram, and God knows he's up to like 8 or 9 doors.
Killing it.
There's so many people out there that are just rocking it that are being mentored by Kris Haskins and Dan Borrero. So my new currency is that. And like you said, look, I'm not going to lie to you. I get excited every time I make a great deal.
No doubt.
But it's not at this point in my life. I'm not making.
It's another deal. Dan, is another deal going to change your life, dog? I mean, what is one more deal? Is it going to? We want the deals. I'm not saying we don't. I don't want to put that out into the universe. But it's not going to change your lifestyle, your house, your.
No, listen. I've been in the same house 26 years, 27 years actually. So it's not going to change my lifestyle, right? But no, shit. I just made another deal just a couple of days ago. Literally, that I'm closing on Tuesday. This Tuesday. Same situation. They need it out, right? But while everybody was out shopping for Christmas gifts or deciphering where they're going to go for dinner or what they were going to be cooking, Dan Borrero was out there shopping for real estate deals, right?
I was too.
I don't know, Kris. I close because of the work that I do from November 15th to December 30th, 31st, right? I literally close about a third of my deals for the entire year by January 15th, January 20th, because of the work that I did in that month and a half. Because everybody else was preoccupied with, because it's the holidays, right? When, and I find myself like banging. And I ain't going to lie to you, man. At the end of the month, I'm exhausted, mentally exhausted, where I need to sleep. But my contractors got work for the next 3-4 months. My team is working for the next 3 or 4 months. When everybody's out there searching for property to make their first quarter, my first quarter is already done going into the second quarter of the year.
We already inked the deals. Let's talk about contractors, though, Dan. You're a little unique in this, but I want to just talk generally speaking. That most of the people that I talk to, they think they're looking for that one contractor that's going to just stay with them for their entire career. Is going to be their right arm, and they're going to walk through a property, know exactly what they want to do. Just talk to them a little bit about that.
But the reality is that contractors are intricate part of your team. Those are intricate team members. But the truth is that just like every professional team, every team that wins the World Series, they don't go into the next season with the same players. They just don't. Things change. Personalities may get hyped up, or egos get involved, or people get sick, right? People get divorced. It affects their work habits, things of that sort, right? So your team members are constantly going to be changing. Now,
there you go.
The best contractors that I've ever had, the most they've ever lasted was maybe 7 years, but most of the time between 3 and 5 years. Because again, things start happening, and whether they get sick or their egos get into it, sometimes they think they got you over the barrel, right? They think you're dependent on them. And you're like, yeah, that ain't.
I love it. I love to hear you talk, Dan. It's almost like you're just printing out the data that's in my brain. Like you're saying exactly what I'm thinking, because people think, I used to think that too. Just give me the guy. Just give me the guy that's going. I just need.
I'm constantly looking for backups. Constantly.
And you've been in the game since '80. I'm like,
constantly looking for backup team members, especially when it comes to contractors. Look, this is the truth. And sometimes, when I said this to my wife years ago, she was like, it's true, but it's kind of it's not something people want to hear. And I said to her, every relationship has an expiration date.
Yeah.
Every relationship, right? My wife and I, we've been married 37 years. Eventually, assume we don't get divorced. I don't foresee that happening. But assuming we don't, one of us is going to die, and at the day of that death, the relationship is over.
Wow, that's deep.
Every relationship has an expiration date, and it's just the truth.
That's deep.
And people call in. We're here to serve you guys tonight. There's a number on the bottom. Call that number, 757-204-1332, and you can join us in our call in and ask us your questions. We're here to serve you tonight. You got Kris Haskins and Dan Borrero. God, we've got what, 70 years of experience between us, maybe 60 years?
50. A caller, listen, you're on the line with Kris and Dan. We want to talk about your plan. Give me your name and where you're coming from, please. Oh, they guess they got a little scared. I cannot wait to show you this stuff, Dan. You are going to be so tickled when you read this indictment. Y'all, treat people right out here. Treat people right. On or about, can you see that, Dan? Y'all, get your questions in right there. Let me check.
Hold on a second. I got to answer this. Somebody on IG says,
go ahead.
It says AMGRYS says, you guys are old heads. You don't understand the market.
Oh, you know what? He might be right.
Says, let me in.
Let him in. He got to come from. He can't come. 1 second.
Yeah, you got to call that number on the screen.
Call him on the screen, bro.
757-204-1332.
Caller, 1 second. I got a technical issue. 1 second, caller. Let me do Bluetooth on. Why is this thing doing this? Connected. Caller, you're on the line with Kris and Dan to talk about your plan. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Florida. I think we spoke before.
I don't know. What's your name?
My name's Jack. I just want to ask you guys, do you guys still think the market is the same as it was 10 to 20 years ago, or do you guys already understand the market has changed completely?
Jack, the market changes every 3 months in this business. How could you ask such a question?
I mean, as in a good thing or as in a bad thing? Because for me, I'm about to just refinance. I'm about to just refinance every one of my condos and pull out equity that I've already paid off because it was stupid for me not to pay it off, and so I'll start all over again. I'm just saying, do you think that's fair for new fish that I'm now pulling out equity of condos I paid for $30,000 not even 5 years ago? Do you understand that? Does that sound like a fair market? You know what I mean? Does that sound like it's fair at all?
Fair.
You want to answer that question, Kris?
How do
I'm not
how do
understanding
you
this
expect
question.
a doctor on $100,000 salary to be able to compete with someone like me who's pulling out equity of all properties?
What's
as
your
of right now?
question? Is your question how do we expect the doctor to compete, or what is your question, Jack?
I mean, it's all competition, right? We're all fighting for properties in Florida. I don't know where you're investing at, but down here, I mean, it's the fastest growing city where I'm at in the whole nation. So it's a competition. I know regardless if you want to admit it or not, it's just all competition.
That's
I
true.
mean, back in the day, you were able to get tax details for nothing because no one showed up. Now you're not getting a tax detail for under market value. You
What's
get what
your
I'm
question,
saying?
Jack?
Back in the day, you get it. What do you mean? What's my question? I'm trying to ask you, do you think the market is the same as it was 10 years ago?
All right, Jack, can I answer that question, Kris?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Jack, the reality is that the market changes every few months. Ever since social media what came out, news and information is translated and put out into the market much quicker than ever before in
That's
history.
true.
And that has changed not only the real estate business, but it has changed every entire business. Now, it is up to us as entrepreneurs. Put aside that we happen to be real estate investors. Doesn't matter what business you're in. You need to pivot. You need to constantly be informing yourself, not only with your local market, but your national market. If you don't understand what's happening nationally, you ain't possibly going to be able to predict what's going to happen locally. And if you don't understand the market you're in, if you don't take the time out to educate yourself, you can't pivot.
I mean, to educate yourself, what do you mean by that? We're talking supply and demand where I'm at in Florida. We're talking people are moving down here and wanting to spend top dollar because they're in a bidding battle against your next door neighbor that's got a full family of 3 kids. This has turned into something.
So then you find yourself either a different niche or you put yourself in a position not to have to compete on the same platform.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to refinance and pull out at least a quarter equity out of each one of my condos, and I guess get a cheap insurance on them. You know what I mean? Because why not? Why wouldn't I want to?
Problem that I find with most people who do that is they over leverage. So if you want to refinance your property, that's not a problem, but you don't over leverage your property, because those are the people in 2008 that found themselves, with their ball basically broke. I listen to me.
But 2008 was completely different.
No, was it? In 2008, I didn't lose.
2008, people went broke.
They always say.
Well, in 2008, Dan Borrero did not go broke. In 2008, Dan Borrero increased his asset values with 2 more zeros at the end, because I didn't over leverage. I was not over leveraged. I was prepared.
What are you pulling the money out for, Jack?
Just to rebuy, man. I mean, it's stupid not to. If my condo is now up $200,000 and my HOA is what, $200 a month, why would I want to keep $200,000 in a condo that I'm making money off of? Why wouldn't I want to have debt underneath? I mean, if you don't have good debt, are you even doing anything? I mean, the market
debt is not a problem. Okay, Jack, debt is not a problem as long as it's not over leveraged.
There you go. Yeah, I'll say pull that money out, Jack. Is that is that where you're going, or are you?
I'm just going to buy Tampa Bay flooded homes. These people are now screwed because they don't have enough money to rebuild their home. So either they take the loss and they have it condemned, or I come in there and I buy your property for 30% of what the market.
I think sounds like refinancing your properties is going to be a good. Dan, are we both agreeing that that's
yeah, I don't have a problem refinancing and pulling out money as long as you're doing it.
I mean, I'm refinancing.
Jack, we think that's a great idea, buddy. We think that's a great idea.
Hello?
Oh, I lost him.
Okay. Bring up the screen, man. What were you going to bring up with the person who got indicted?
Oh, yeah. Jack?
It's almost stupid if I do refinance, but I've looked at it like I need to start transitioning from condos into houses, if that makes sense. If I can go buy a house that's been flooded and needs minimal work and I can just replace the
I think we're all on the same page with Jack. He should refinance. All right.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to refinance?
I'm sorry?
Why wouldn't you want to refinance? why wouldn't you want to refinance? I bought a house right off Newport Richie for
we're agreeing with you, brother.
$750,000.
Okay, thanks for calling in, buddy. I think we're agreeing with Jack.
We are.
Yeah, I don't know why. Okay. I think we're agreeing with Jack on that. I think he should refinance. Shit, why not? You own the house free and clear. I don't know why. You have all that equity in there. I didn't miss anything with that, did I, Dan?
Nope.
On or about December 19th, 2019, EW, that was a person, rented a single family home from located at whatever, Hampton, Virginia. This is right in my town. Oh, let me show you what page am I on. This is what you don't want to see, y'all. Look at this shit. You do not want to see United States of America V and your fucking name right there.
You don't.
Yo, Dan, do you know how much shit would be in my,
you done, man?
You know how much shit would be in my underwear? I'm like,
the reality is that even if you are right, you don't have enough money to fight the Fed. You just don't. It don't cost that prosecutor squat. He actually gets paid to make your life miserable.
Yo,
unlimited amount of funds. Our tax dollars.
I was looking at this joint just from the top. I'm like, I just do not ever want to see my name right here, yo. I mean, I wouldn't be able to sleep, dude. I mean, let me see. You see the counts over here, right?
So what essentially give me the gist of it? What's the problem?
I'm gonna give you one. It's 30-something counts. I can't go over them all here, but I want you to read this one. This sounds like a Dan Borrero move.
Dan Borrero, no, man. You'll never see my name on that V, underneath that V.
That's true. I take that back. I mean, this sounds like something you would want to do, I would say. Can I do that? Where is it at? Oh, man. Oh, but here we go. On or about December, EW rented a single-family home at Glendale Road, Hampton. Merriman is the defendant. The house was in serious disrepair. EW took possession. Among other things, the toilet in the bathroom did not work. There was a hole in the wall, patched up with a paper plate, and bricks were falling off the house. Merriman, that's the guy, promised to repair the property or credit EW's rent for any repairs she made herself. Y'all call in with questions. When EW asked Merriman to make the reasonable repairs to the property after she'd moved in, he responded with mocking comments and attempted to evict her by condemning the property. That's a technique landlords use. They don't do the repairs, and they let the city condemn the property. When EW was unsuccessful at getting the repairs, Merriman had promised she calls code compliance, which I would do too, about the condition of the property. When they put the violation stickers on the home, Merriman illegally removed them. Merriman also became angry when he learned that EW, the tenant, called the codes compliance on him, and he destroyed the water line to the house with a backhoe.
Yeah, this guy needs to get locked up. This is the equivalent of when I see things like this and people getting locked up for stuff like this, I'm going like this. Because it's people with that mentality that
you can do what I say.
A cloud on top of the word landlord, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then people like us that do totally the opposite makes our life more difficult. So yeah, good for him. I don't know. Did they say how many years he could get?
He got 17 years. He was sentenced on December 18th. I was trying to make it. He got 17 years.
Oh, he did a whole lot more than what you just read off.
Oh yeah, he got this is another one. I like you. Check this one out. Thank you, TT. On or about May 10th, Merriman aided and abetted by others. Thank you. Known and unknown to the grand jury. He applied to the VHDA for approximately $18,000 in rent relief for EW. This is the same guy at Glendale Road. EW did not consent or authorize benefit from this. Did not consent to authorize or otherwise benefit from this application. Merriman assumed the tenant's identity, used her name, and forging the tenant's signature on the rent relief application without consent.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
You know, I got to tell you the truth, Chris. When I see people do things like this, whether they're landlords or not, they're so comfortable doing this because they've done it a lot of times.
They've done it. My thing is, why wouldn't you? Okay, I've done these rent things, right? Why wouldn't you just get the tenant to fill the shit out? I mean, why you got to sign her name? Just be like, look, Miss Smith, we're gonna go. I'm gonna help you with the money.
My argument is there's two arguments I have. One, why would any tenant want to put themselves in that position? Just move out. That's number one.
It's during COVID. Let's see. This is during it was during COVID day. Dan.
Still, you could still move out during COVID.
You could have moved out, but I'm saying if you had problems, they had rent relief stuff. This is a real thing. That
why would a tenant want to? I mean, if I had kids, especially whether I had kids or not, I'd be like, I'm out of here, right? I don't need this shit. I could go live somewhere else. I could spend my time and my energy more productively. That's number one. Number two, why in God's name would the tenant have moved in if a property was in that condition? And number three, and by no means am I blaming the tenant. And number three, why would a landlord, or how can a landlord have the audacity to want to rent out a space that is inhabitable?
That's true, Dave. I mean, damn, that's true. Think about it, brother. Well, here's the thing. What I've noticed, Dan, and you've been doing this longer than me. Some tenants will go for people that have extremely bad credit, and I've seen them too. Some landlords, some owners, they're like, look, bad credit, cool. I don't care about your credit. Just give me first month rent. And those type of people, from my experience, are sometimes willing to put up with more mess than others.
Well, yeah, that is true. So when I hear stories with tenants getting accepting spaces that are not up to par because they have such a difficult time getting apartments from people.
That's big here. That's big here. That's big here.
Right.
It's really big, dude.
Yeah. So, but again, if you put yourself, why do you have bad credit? Most of the time it's because you had bad choices. So these are the consequences that come with those bad choices.
That's true. We don't know everybody's story, man, because I know I got several foreclosures back in 2008, so my credit was in the trash. Here's the thing. The final application submitted contained several mistakes, making it clear that it was evident that Merriman and not the tenant, EW, completed the application. For instance, Merriman misspelled EW's own name on the rent relief application and misstated her age. What a dummy. Merriman also wrongly listed her as having a dependent child in the residence. Merriman falsely represented it to the VHDA. That's the Virginia government. Why would you want to do that? That EW lost her job at a restaurant during the pandemic. In fact, EW never did work for a restaurant. So this guy, Dan, can you envision? That's like, I'm your tenant. You go fill out the rent relief, get the check based on signing my signature, and get the money.
That's so many.
That's crazy.
Got to be multiple crimes there.
But I'm just
multiple different crimes.
Why would the dude not just?
Listen. During COVID, I made it my business. Literally, right when COVID hit. Right before, because I saw it coming. I started doing research on everywhere my tenants could get relief, financial relief from. And the first people I reached out to was, I went through all my my files, and the first people I reached out to was anybody that was in a service type of business, whether it were landscapers, bartenders, waitresses or waiters, whatever that service business was. One of my tenants was a dry cleaner. He owned his own dry cleaner. Another one of my tenants was an Uber driver. Another one of my tenants did high-end luxury black car service. So I knew these people were going to be out of business, right? So I made it my business to gather all the information they would need, and then I forward it to them. And I say, hey guys, this is where you can get some financial relief. Yes, I know it's going to take some time.
Let them do it.
Let's work this together, because you're probably going to need some documents from me. So please fill out for that financial relief as soon as possible. And then when they notify you whatever they need from me, I will get it to you immediately, right?
I love it.
So we were constantly in communications with our tenants, right? Did I lose tenants? I lost 13 tenants in New York. All my tenants in Florida stayed, and I got paid for every single one of my
Wow.
apartments. Did I lose rent on the 13 tenants that vacated? I did, but not one of them left owing me a month's rent, and they left the place immaculate. Every single one of them. So they were so good that two of them decided to come back to the city
Wow.
about a year and a half later, and I just happened to have two other apartments that were available. They asked me if I had something available, and I took them back immediately.
That's
Right.
deep.
Even now, did they break their leases when those 13 tenants? Yes. Was I going to hold them to their lease? No. I mean, this was
Yeah,
a unprecedented situation.
just let them go.
Yeah, just let them go. But you got to work with. You could work with people, but people are going to be willing to work with you if as long as you're a decent landlord. I mean, what do you expect people to pay? You expect people to pay you rent when they're living in a roach infested, rat infested, holes in the wall, not
No.
running water? I mean, why would they pay you rent? You don't deserve rent.
I'm telling y'all, we have an obligation to these people. That's with traditional rentals. Now, if you do seller financing and you turn yourself into the bank, all you're doing is collect money. Dan, does the mortgage company have any obligation other than just collect the money? I was thinking about that earlier today.
I mean,
Being
you
a
could
landlord
apply.
is different.
I mean, those type of people. If you're a landlord, you could apply for forbearance. Um,
That's true. No,
but
I'm just talking about in general. Like you as a landlord, you have requirements, you've got standards that you got to meet to the property. But the lender, I mean, they do one job, they finance you to buy it. Do they have any other obligation?
no, just to collect rent, just to collect the mortgage every month. Collect
Telling
their
you, man, the
principal.
note game is a monster, y'all. Then talk to them real quick just about why come no one talks about this? Is it just not sexy?
It's not sexy. It's not driving up with the Ferrari.
I was true story today. I was talking to one of my mentors. She took over the note holder, sold her a note for $250,000. The property is worth $2 million. Guy got in trouble. So I'm like, man, if you can understand this note game, dude, I mean, I think for 2025, Dan, I'm going to really get into the money space.
So I'll tell you guys, I'm going to share a story with you guys, and I want everyone here, please. If you're on Instagram, you could call in.
Yeah.
Questions and ask Kris Haskins. The number is
Get your questions in.
757-204-1332. The number is right on the screen.
Yep.
If you're on YouTube, by all means, please call in. Kris, how many people we have on here now?
We got IG. I got 12. Instagram. YouTube. We got 51.
51 people on here, guys. Please come online. Ask us your questions. So, I didn't understand the note side of this business.
Me
I'll
neither.
tell you a story. So, about 25.
No one ever does. You fight it. You resist it. You fight it. You say, I ain't doing all that.
About 25. It's got to be close to 25 years ago. I was buying these two lots on Claremont and Park Avenue,
Damn.
Brooklyn, New York.
Sound expensive. Woof.
And no, at the time, man, it was vacant lots everywhere around Fort Greene, Brooklyn. It was
Park Avenue.
yeah, man. It was vacant lots everywhere.
I don't believe it.
So, crazy because you've been to these properties, you've seen. So, I make a deal to buy these two lots from this lady, because people were dumping restaurant food there at night, and the smell was coming into my store and my father's store across the street in the morning. Horrible smells. Then there were rats everywhere. And so I find out who, back then you had to actually go to City Hall, look up public records to find out who owns it. And you had to sit there literally and go through the index cards like this,
Yep.
So I found out who owned it. It turns out to be somebody that I knew. She was a realtor in the neighborhood. So I go and I make a deal with her, and we were buying the property for $78,000. But it was two lots. So now when we go to do the title search, it comes up that she owes on one of the lots, she owed $15,000. She never made all the payments to the owner. So the owner had bought the property in a tax deed sale on the auction for the city, and then he sold it to her. But when she found out that he was making $10,000, all she paid him was $5,000, and said, "That's all I'm going to pay you." So he said, well, I'm not going to give you a mortgage release because that's not what you agreed to.
Yeah.
So essentially, but I couldn't find him. So anyway, so she says to me, look, you got to take it as is because I got somebody else who's willing to take it as is. And I said, well, I don't care. So that someone else actually came to my video store and said, look, why don't you just release this and you'll get back your escrow deposit. And I said,
Release what?
Basically sign a release of cancellation, and I would get back my escrow deposit.
Oh, the contract.
Right.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm like, yeah. I said that ain't happening. He goes, I'll give you $3,000. I said, keep your $3,000. Transfer the contract to me. I'll give you $3,000. I'm like, keep it. I don't care. I don't need it. So I went back to her, and my father and I at the time. My father was my partner, and my father said to her, listen, I don't want no problems with you. Why don't we just want to do the deal the way we're supposed to do it at the closing table, take proceeds and pay off this mortgage that you owe. And she was like, she started getting a little loud, and he said to her, look, right now you're dealing with me, but once I put my son on this, you ain't dealing with me no more. He takes us to wherever it has to go. So she turns around and says, I've eaten bigger men than your son. So I looked at her and I said, I hope you're not full because I'm a whole lot to eat. Well, I couldn't stop thinking all night. I was just thinking and thinking and thinking. So I said to I called up my attorney the next day and I said, Joe, his name's Joe. I said, how can I buy his mortgage?
Nah. Now I'm your boss.
So he said, yeah. I said, well, how does that work? So, but now I got to go find this guy. We didn't have the internet back then. So there was 3 people with his name in Northern Jersey. So I sent all 3 of those people a letter saying, hey, I have your $15,000.
Today.
Call me. Right? On such and such property. Well, I get a phone call about a week later from the actual note holder. And he tells me that he wrote that off on his taxes already. And he had, that he figured it's a loss. I said, well, I want to buy it. I said, would you take $500 for it? He said, I'll take 500. That's like free money. That's dead paper to me. So now I have my lawyer.
You have got to be joking. No. Hold up. Rewind the story. All right, y'all. So the story is Dan is getting ready to buy a note from the mortgage company, which is the seller. All right.
It's an individual like you and I would be.
But they don't understand. Most people don't even know the concept. So the mortgage company.
Neither did I at the time. I'm not gonna
this mortgage company is a person. Let's say he's buying this loan. I'm the mortgage lender, and I'm going to sell it to Dan for $500. All right, go Dan.
So fast forward. So I have my attorney send me over the documents that this guy's got to sign.
He's going to do an assignment.
Right. And then I give my brother, because I couldn't go, my brother David had to go, with a bank check made out to his name. And then for him to go and notarize with my brother these documents. So now he brings me back these documents. I give it. I then wrap this literally the same day. We bring it over to the attorney, right? And the attorney then files that we are with the county records that we are the new mortgage holders.
He assigned it over to you. He did a loan assignment,
right? So at the same time, we now put a Liz pendants on the property, saying, "Hey, anybody who comes to look at these 2 properties, we have a claim against this. So before you give clear title, know that Dan Borrero has a claim against these properties." Just as we filed that Liz pendants prior to us even buying the mortgage.
Okay, so you was good. You was protecting yourself before you bought the mortgage too.
So now, but when I'm reading the mortgage and the note, we're entitled to all the legal fees plus the interest and the penalties that she hasn't paid in over 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
So this adds up to about $30,000 on a note that I bought for $500. I didn't even read. I was just happy to get the note and the mortgage. When I started reading, I was like, wait a minute, this may add up to a lot of money.
Y'all, please hit that thumbs up for this story here.
So, guys, she now comes in.
How does she know?
Well, because we go to
You sent her
court.
a letter.
No, the day we go to court, the judge listens to her case and my case for the Liz pendants. But then we hit the judge. Well, we own this the mortgage now. We want to get paid on this. We want to add this to the complaint. So the judge says, you both need to go outside, have this discussion. We're going to make another court date. And then he turns around and says to her, this is not going to go very well for you. You may want to have a reasonable.
Yeah, you're in first position.
Yeah, but I didn't understand what I knew. I was in a better position, but I didn't have the experience I have today. This was all a learning curve for me.
This is amazing.
So now her lawyer talks to my lawyer. We leave. The next day she comes walking in my video store. Now she comes in all somber. She ain't walking in tough. She's like walking tall the way. Told me I'm gonna eat him up, right? She ain't walking like that no more, right? So she says, "Hey Dan, let's talk, because I see the light." I said, "I'm glad you see the light."
Oh.
And I just want to do the deal the way we originally said, and I'll pay.
Oh no.
I was like, that ain't happening. So she said, well, I know you only pay $500. I said, but I don't understand. You said you couldn't find the mortgage holder. But you know that I only paid $500. That means you always knew where he was. I said, yeah, I paid $500. I'm gonna make $29,500 profit. Because I'm foreclosing on you.
Ooh.
So to make a long story short, a property that I was supposed to pay $70,000 for, after it was all said and done, because she had a bunch of sanitation tickets on her too, she walked away with only about maybe $20,000.
So she went ahead and sold it to you.
Right. Now, she didn't have a choice because I had the list pendants, plus I was starting foreclosure on her.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
she had the money to pay. She didn't have the money to bring the note current.
She did. That guy would have taken $500 from her.
I'm talking about now with you. All the stuff.
No, she didn't have to make the note current because I was taking it out of proceeds.
You were going. I'm saying if she were to keep the property,
if she wouldn't have had the money. Well, she had the money. I knew she was a big real estate agent, broker actually up the corner. She was doing a lot of deals in the community, and I pretty much told everybody in the community, this woman's a liar. And she threatened to sue me for defamation. I was like, you can, but I'm not sure what I said that was a lie. So the point is, in this business, you're not going to know everything, but you will learn a whole lot once you're in it.
But we're talking about those notes. That's why I love the note business. You didn't have to talk to her anymore. You could have just sent letters, foreclosure date. Right? You didn't have to talk.
I did the list pendants and I started foreclosure the following day.
But I'm saying, what is there to talk about? You got the note and the deed of trust.
There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, nothing to do. You did her a favor by talking.
Oh, I didn't talk to her. I just served her. I served her with the list pendants. 2 weeks later, she got served with the foreclosure. I'm just saying, she got served in court.
Oh, wow.
Yep, outside she got served in the hallway going into the door. I loved it.
Juice HD, thinking about renting my home through local Section 8 authority program. Good for you. Any advice as far as operating the tenant documents? Go ahead, Dan.
I would suggest that you vet your tenant, whether it be Section 8 or through 9 to 5 people, whoever those are, with the same exact criteria. Number one. Number two, you better make sure that property is all within code if you're going to rent it to Section 8, because they will come out and do inspections, not only before the tenant moves in, but they will come out and do inspections prior to signing a new lease next year. And make sure you have a strong lease.
Yeah, Dan got one of the strongest in the business.
Yep.
You can go to section8money.com, section8money.com, Juice HD, and check out my Section 8 training. Dan also has good documents too at danborrerojr.com. Hit that button down there, that like button, y'all smash it. These stories are
asked me if you on Instagram, if you didn't propose buying the mortgage, would it have been the attorney's job to find the solution? Well, the solution was we were taking her to court to enforce the contract, and that would have taken a whole lot more time and a whole lot more money.
Oh,
But
yeah.
me in a position of holding a mortgage cut that time in more than half.
There's
You know,
nothing to talk about.
there's
I'm on
nothing
the
to talk
mortgage. You ain't paid it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm foreclosing on a property. Your property's mine now. I can take it. It's unobstructable.
Yes.
Unobstructable. You cannot stop the foreclosure. Well, you can delay it. Can't stop it.
Question here is, how often do you suggest increasing tenant rent? I do it every year,
Once a year.
once a year.
Once a year. I've done it one time. I've done it twice in a year just because I had a Section 8 tenant and we put in a new central heating in there and it was $7,000 and they approved it. But it wasn't like a big raise. It was like $50.
Yeah, I've never done it twice in 1 year ever. Even with my tenants that are month to month, I just won't do that.
Yeah. Once a year, I would say.
Yeah, I've had situations where I've had big expenditures that come up that were unexpected. I still won't raise their rent, but I will let them know, hey, you know what, next rent increase is gonna be much more substantial than normal as a result of this additional expense.
Yeah. All right, this is Final Call. Get your questions answered with Dan Borrero and Kris Haskins. Right now, we have gone over a lot of different stuff. Dan, I love it. The note business. So it sounds like to me you're a fan of the note business.
I love the note business. I hold a lot of paper, especially on my land. I sell land on credit. I'm just looking to see if there's anybody else here with a question.
Go ahead.
Remember, guys, you could call in to direct 757-204-1332. This is the first time we only have one phone call, Kris. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, that was weird. Maybe, you know what? People probably vacation. They're not thinking about.
How many people we have on YouTube right now doesn't show up on my
55. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm looking at these charges here, man. I want to read some more of these charges. Seem like people like those charges.
Guys, give us your questions. What do you want to hear us talk about tonight?
What is eschewed written agreements?
Walia Diaz.
Hey, caller, you're on the line with Kris and Dan. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Walia. I'm calling from Connecticut. I have a question about
Yeah, she's breaking up, Kris.
Wait a minute. 1 second. 1 second, lady. I lost you. 1 second. 1 second. Don't move. How's this thing doing this? Lolita? Lolita, you there?
Yes, Walia.
Lolia. Oh, sorry. L-O-L-I-A.
With a W-A-L-I-A, Walia.
All right. Thank you for not screaming on me like my wife would do. Walia. Sorry.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
What's your question? What you got?
How can we help you?
Land. I was asking right now. I was agreeing with the first person you spoke with from Florida. The fact that everything's so high. I'm out of Connecticut, but I'm considering purchasing in other states like maybe Ohio or Texas. Would there be more cash flow if I purchased land and built on it? More cash flow or better return on investment?
Well, Leah, can I ask you some questions if you don't mind? Let me just so that we know who you are and where you're at. Do you own any property currently now?
I have a 5-unit building in Killingly, Connecticut.
Okay. And when you say
that one, how long have you had that?
7 years. It'll be 8 years in June. So.
Okay, so you've been managing people in and out.
Okay.
And I had a 4-unit in Springfield, Mass. I sold that after 2 years of dealing with crazy tenants, which I regret selling though because it went up $300,000.
So,
anyhow,
well,
so right now I just the 5-unit.
My experience is this. I'll tell you a quick story. I remember years ago when I was buying land in a place called Sarasota, in Sarasota County, Florida, a place called Northport, and I'd be buying land for like $3,000, and I put up a for sale sign, and the person next door, this literally happened to my brother and I. We were putting up this for sale sign on a tree, and person next door comes out and says, hey, so you guys bought this, I could have bought this for $3,000. And we told him, well, that's what we paid for it. And he said, well, you paid too much. And, he goes, how much you selling it for? So I said, 6. And he said, you're crazy. I didn't buy it at 3. Why would I buy it at 6? I said, well, I didn't ask you if you wanted to buy it. You asked me how much I was selling it for, right? I'm selling it for 6. So, now that, 3 years later, I sold it for 6, and the person I sold it for 6 sold it for 18,000. So what I'm saying is he thought it was too high at 3,000 because he had bought his land that he built his house on for 2,000. Prices will never stay the same.
Okay.
So what I'm saying to you is,
Okay.
you know how much you paid for your 5 family, but you may be thinking, in comparison to what you paid versus what the prices are today, it's out of reach.
Yeah.
But if it's a 5 family, you could go for what they call a commercial loan or DSCR loan, and then the mortgage is going to be based on the income of the property, not on the appraisal.
What is DCR? What is that loan? DCRS.
So a DCR loan is basically saying the bank is saying, hey, we will give you a loan with no income check, and we'll give it to you based on the value of the property, and the value of the property is going to be based on the income of the property. You're going to have to come up with 20% down, right? If you come up with 20% down and you have a decent credit score, they will give you that loan based strictly on the income of the property, right? To make sure that property
with no money down or 20% down.
That's a 20% down.
You refinance it, you ain't got nothing out of it.
Right. So,
wow.
What I'm saying is, just because the prices have gone up from what you originally bought your properties from doesn't mean that it's still not a good deal. So now, before you start investing out of state, I would say, listen, you want to invest locally or within driving distance, and you want to start getting experience managing tenants, creating your team, managing your team members. Because I didn't start investing out of state until I had like 10 properties, and each one of my properties is no less than 2 doors. Most of them are 4 to 5 doors each, sometimes 6 doors. So I had, like 60, 70 doors before I started investing out of state. And so it was a lot easier for me to manage those people, to know the truth when they were talking to me, who was blowing smoke at me versus who was telling me the truth. It was a lot easier for me to walk and say to a contractor, I want to see a job that you're currently doing. And I walk and I see him swinging a hammer. I'll know if he's a real carpenter or not, just by the way he holds his hammer, because of my experience that I have from back home. So before you start investing out of state, where you have to get on a plane and go to.
Is it out of state? Is it out of state, Willie?
Yeah, the 2 places are Texas and Ohio that I'm thinking of. They're both out of state. Yes. I was thinking of property management.
I have a lot of mentees investing in Philly, Connecticut, upstate New York, and they live in New York City.
It can be done.
It can be done. You just need to, you need to start networking, and you'll be surprised how many opportunities you're gonna find yourself with when you start networking in your own areas.
Well, Leah, are you doing? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dan.
No, that was it.
Well, Leah, are you doing new construction, multifamily? Is that what you're looking to do?
That's what I wanted to do. Yes. Well, new construction for Texas, rehab for Ohio.
Do you have any construction experience?
No, I was going to go with a company that pretty much does it all as far as being a developer. Exact. Well, I don't know about it. Won't be turnkey because they have to build, so it won't be turnkey. But it's the developer, the realtor. It's their own team. They have a team.
Well, Leah,
I honestly was just going to get I was going to come with a lawyer. I was going to get my own lawyer.
Well, Leah, whenever you're presented with a turnkey situation,
I've never seen them shits do well.
It's never just turnkey, number one, and number two, you're paying for that comfort. You are going to pay for the comfort of knowing that it's turnkey or thinking that it's turnkey. You're not getting.
I don't mind if I'm making money. I don't mind paying for that if I'm making money.
Well, then why don't you just then do it in your own backyard and make the money?
That's a damn good
Because
question.
everything's so high. Everything's so high.
So what's high?
Okay, I'm going to give you an example. In Ohio, you can get a 3-family for approximately $100,000. Here, you're getting a 3-family for $500,000.
Okay, but what's the rent roll on that $100,000 on those 3 families per door?
The rent on the $100,000, I believe, is 8 to 9 or 8 to 1,000.
Okay, so let's say you're going to get best case scenario $3,000. That's best case scenario. You're going to make $3,000. What's your cash flow?
Yeah.
Net cash flow after you pay your mortgage, your expenses, everything, your property manager, everything. What's your cash flow?
Anywhere from 12 to 15.
Okay. Let's take worst case scenario, because when we do our cash flow, we look at worst case scenario. 1,200. Now
I agree. I agree with that.
Okay. Now you take the same property you're saying you're going to pay $500,000 for in Connecticut. What's your rent and what's your net cash flow?
The rent may be anywhere from 15 to 22 or 18 to 22.
Okay, that's a big spread.
6,000.
Okay, 6,000.
Yeah.
What's your net cash flow on that 6,000?
With taxes and everything, I'd say
$1,200. Can't be no closer than that.
to about I'd say 2,000, anywhere between 2,000 and 2,500.
Okay, so it's 2,500, right? 2,500 is about what my mentees are doing. So it's double. So you spent double, and you spent double, but you're making double the cash flow.
No. I'm spending 5 times.
$100,000.
Remember, I'm comparing 100,000 to 500,000.
Okay, well, Leah, let me tell you, I own a lot of property in the state of Florida. I have actually more doors in the state of Florida than I do in New York City and New Jersey right now. The difference,
Okay.
and the reason I went and started buying there was so that I could scale up more. But I've owned those doors.
That's what I want to do.
I've owned those doors for many years. I own no mortgages on any of my doors. And I had a skill set developed already. I was doing this business for 10 years before I started doing that. My learning curve, even though I knew what I was doing, the learning curve was about how to develop my team, how to manage my team from a distance.
Let's talk about her team, Dan. Who are these people? Well, who are these people?
Who are they?
Yeah, tell us about them.
JB Thibodeau.
I'm saying, are they somebody that you know, or is it a new relationship?
No. Honestly, I started following a realtor, and I noticed that realtor started working with the developer.
Okay.
And like I said, it seems like a really nice team, and like you can make a really good cash flow. But either way, I was going to come with my own attorney.
Well, that's the paperwork.
Like they have their team, but I was still going to bring in my own attorney. I was not going to work with their attorney. I was going to bring in my own.
That's cool. So their business model is to get the land, build a triplex, and then you take it over as the owner, and they make a cut.
Their thing is duplexes. Their thing is they can. I believe I can even. You know what I'll do? I'll send both of you the. I'll inbox you the play, but it's called duplex play, where you can put 2 duplexes on one lot and make anywhere from 100 to 300,000 per deal.
Maybe. Well, here's the thing. I'm sure with Dan, I'd like to hear his opinion too. But I have come to the state in my life where my team is everything. My team is everything. Like I don't care about I don't care. In fact, I would do a deal and make way less money if I got the solid team. So I hear you when you say, I don't mind paying this, I don't mind paying that. I'm happy for you. I say, look, if you got somebody that's going to do all the work and you get to pay them for their fees, the only question I like to see is all the fees you're going to pay. Usually from what I see, it adds up to fair market value, right? And one of the rules of thumbs is being a successful long-term real estate person is always buying below market value. So I don't know the values that you're buying that.
Well, Leah, this is another thing. when you go out Midwest, you need to remember you're not going to get the asset appreciation you're going to get in Connecticut in the Northeast. So you need to also decide, do you want what's more important to you, and can you live without one versus the other? Whereas in Connecticut, you're going to get both. You're going to get the cash flow and the asset appreciation. That's something you need to consider.
The two, I'm going to ask both of you. The fact that everything is so high, you still see room for it to go higher? I feel like pretty soon condos are going to be $500,000, and which I know they are in Miami, but I just feel like I have more room for growth in those two states.
That's true. You might be right.
Look, if you look at the scale, yes. Look, when I was looking to scale, and I knew I had to leave New York City because I couldn't scale fast enough because of the acquisition.
Okay, that's where I'm going with it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So I wanted to scale, but my problem then became, where do I go where I can still get the asset appreciation and the cash flow? And I was out in Ohio. I was all over Ohio. I was in Cleveland. I saw a lot of opportunities there. I went to Philly. I went to the outskirts of Philly. I went to Connecticut. I went to different parts of Jersey, and we own property in Jersey. We own a lot of property in North Jersey. At one point, I owned a lot of property in South Jersey too, but I don't anymore. But
okay.
Point is that I wanted to go. I want to have my money where not only am I getting cash flow, but I'm also getting asset appreciation. Now, a lot of people say, "Hey, Dan, you're asking for too much. It's unrealistic." It's not. You just need to take the time out to learn and do research. And believe it or not, a lot of the information that I got on locations where I'm currently investing in now, was as a result of me networking and going to networking events and people talking to me and me talking.
I go to a lot of networking events. I go to a lot.
Well, let me ask you: I just hosted a free networking event for my mentorship Unleashed. And by the way, if you're not on my weekly mentorship classes because they're free, then it's kind of foolish. So you could go to danielborrerojr.com and sign
I'm in and out. I have so much. Yeah, I have so much going on. I do come to some, like I'm on today. Okay. And you're talking about appreciation. Remember, about 3 to 4 years ago in Ohio, those same 3 units were 30,000, 20,000, 10,000.
You cannot take 3 years. What's happened in the last 2 or 3 years, because COVID was the result of increasing those values. Because those same properties were like that for 10 years for that price point. COVID changed that, and now
this is the thing. Now they're 100, but now they're 100.
Yeah, but if you notice, after COVID, they're not moving quickly like they used to.
That's not to say they won't go back, dude. I have personally seen it do like this, Dan. I've seen it go. And it was weird. New investors always say it never goes down, does it? Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not saying that that's you, but I was like, it never go back down. Yeah, right.
But
really, I've never heard of it going back down. I've never heard of that.
Oh well, because you weren't around for 2008, maybe, or 1992.
I was around a little longer.
I was around a little longer.
Listen, okay, 1992, I was a teenager, so maybe I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, this is the deal, Aliyah.
We got to go. Hurry up, Dan. We got callers.
One quick thing. If you have no intentions of selling, then you don't care where the market's going as long as it's cash flow. I don't care if I remember. I don't care if this shit goes to zero. I remember when interest rates started to go up. I had a broker call me up for one of my properties in Park Slope, and he says, I'll get you $6.5 million. And I was like, great, but I'm not looking to sell. He says, well, you better sell now because when the rates go up to 7%, that property's coming down to $5 million. So I said to him, I hate when salesmen like you call me up and you didn't do your research. I owned the property since 1990. I didn't sell it due to ups and downs since 1990. You think I'm going to sell it now? I don't give a shit. I'm pulling $28,000 a month out of that property. So if you have no intentions of selling, then maybe
worry about the weather, yeah.
Matter to you. Me, it matters to me because I'm also getting close to retirement. So yeah, I want appreciation.
We got to take this call. We got to go.
But can I hear about?
Hey,
Okay.
look,
All right. I was like,
book a
shouldn't I care about being able to
consultation.
pull money out?
Book a consultation with
I
either
will.
one
I
of us,
will.
Dan. Okay.
Take care, Walia.
That was a good one. Wow.
Call from
James.
Caller, you on the line with Kris and Dan. State your name and where you're calling from.
This is James and Dana calling from St. Louis. You guys, how you doing?
Dana, you part of my mentorship class.
What
Yeah.
up?
Yes, we are. We're enjoying it. Hey, we have two quick questions. One is, as far as Section 8 goes, do you have to justify the annual rent increase?
You go
That's
first, Dan.
Kris Haskins question there.
So for me, I'm like a conservative guy, James and Dana. I don't like to like crush the market, but I'm getting over that now. I'm raising rents now, right? So what I always do when I set mine in, I always do a quick Zillow search. I get the addresses, boom, 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 and I put the addresses right on there. I want them to see. I'm like, because my rents are usually always lower, right? So I'm like, if I want $100 raise or $150, I always put 3 addresses, even if they don't ask for it. I put them right there. I'm saying, hey, I'm asking for this, but I'm still below market rent, and I get it every time. I have yet to have them say we ain't gonna do it.
What's your second question, James?
Second question is that, what are you guys' opinion on? We know that there's a lot of activity in the tenant landlord market going on now. And for example, here in St. Louis, they're coming up with all different kind of requirements and legislation, putting it all on the landlord. And I know national-wise, there are also some things. And I want to know, as far as what kind of pivot should we be aware of, because we know that when Congress or whoever gets involved in it, they thinking they helping the tenant, but a lot of times they're just hurting the tenant and they hurting the landlords also. So what's your guys' opinion on it?
What opinion on what? I didn't get it.
All the rent regulations that are coming out.
Rent regulations like what? Like repairs and
No, well, I just read recently where I believe there was I forgot what it was, some kind of legislation where it was called tenant no fault tenant evictions, where it was in favor of the tenant at the time, I guess, because the landlord had to prove, well, he didn't have to prove, whatever. But now they're talking about eliminating that, where the landlord would have to have a viable reason.
Refers to a situation where a landlord evicts a tenant without needing to provide a specific reason for the eviction, meaning they can terminate the tenancy without alleging any wrongdoing by the tenant. Essentially, the landlord can evict simply because they want to, not due to any action the tenant, like non-payment. Okay, go ahead.
Now it's like I was reading that even if they stop paying, such as like in New York, maybe you have difficulty trying to evict the tenant because of that new legislation. So I was just wondering, what are you guys' opinion on that?
James, we've spoken about this several times in my mentorship class. You know that. I, for instance, no longer buy in the city of New York because of the good guy clause and all the other clauses that they come up with. Hence
He's
the
a good guy.
You have tenants. You have some landlords in court for 29 months before they can evict the tenant in the city of New York.
Come on, Dan. You
in my opinion,
y'all.
in the city of New York, you're crazy. Secondly, that's a decision you need to then, there's usually loopholes in these laws. So I would tell you, speak to your tenant landlord attorney and see what he says, right? How do you deal with this? How do you pivot around it? How do you find the loopholes in it? Right now, if there are no loopholes and it's extremely difficult to pivot, then you got to make a decision. Do I continue to invest here? Do I go elsewhere? Right? How do I pivot? How do I find my next niche? Right? One thing I don't do anymore is I don't invest in Democratic states. I only invest now in Republican states. And this is not a statement, because I don't believe in either party. But Republican states usually have laws that are helpful for landlords to get rid of bad tenants.
James and Dana, I want to say I have so
That's
much
correct.
love for y'all. I want to ask y'all a question. Do you know you are in one of the best markets in the country? Do you know that?
Oh yeah, we know that. We know that.
You know you the shit.
But
All
we
right,
just
so at least y'all know that.
we're just trying to be prepared because where we're at right now in this municipality, they say we have a lot of vacancies, so we want more owners to come in and buy the property. Well, this area doesn't support that when you got maybe C- or D+ kind of area that you're in. But they turn around and say we want to charge you $200 $300 per year per door if you're a landlord. And so some of the landlords might have, one person has 16 doors, so now they got to pay $300 per door per year, and it's kind of, like Dan said, do you stay or do you move?
Hold on, James. See, you didn't tell me that was the problem. So you got to pay $200 a door.
That's one of the problems.
Okay,
Go ahead.
that just added $20 a month to the tenant's rent.
Yeah, I ain't paying that.
Oh,
Tenants are paying for that.
yeah.
You can add that on the lease.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. I'm just saying the attitude of the people, the powers that be, they think that's going to make the area better and create more people that want opportunities for them to come in and buy ownership, as opposed to just trying to work with the landlords and come up with a better solution than that. That's all.
Okay, James and Dana, listen to this. Remember that the people that are coming up with these laws and these regulations and these procedures are government workers that have been living off the financial tit of the taxpayers. If they were any kind of a business person, they wouldn't be working for the government. They'd be working for themselves.
So listen, I want to go ahead. Go ahead, Dan.
So the point is, they could come up with all the rules and regulations they want. It's just going to increase the rent. It's just hurting the tenants. It's not hurting you, because when I get an increase for anything, it gets passed on to my tenants.
Pass it on. Listen, James and Dana, St. Louis, please reach out to me. I am trying to deploy some money there. All right, y'all got my email address right below. Just send my email a team. I will do a courtesy call with you. But I'm going to ask you, are you doing any seller financing? I have to ask. You are in the best market in the country.
Yes,
Why
we
are you only
we
ahead.
have to talk. We're going to have to talk. We're definitely going to have to talk, Kris.
Are you doing any seller financing? That's my question right now, though. We got
no, we haven't done it yet. No,
I thought Dana just said, somebody
Not
said
yet.
yeah. So,
yeah, we will.
We definitely will.
We have to get out. In your market specifically, we have to stop being landlords. You got to stop being landlords. This is exactly why my mentor has over 100 of these shits in St. Louis. And he lives right down the street from me. He lives in Virginia Beach. He got over 100 doors in St. Louis. And that's exact. I'm like, shit, I'm trying to do exactly what he's doing. So my email's below. I need to deploy some money. I need to deploy some money in St. Louis, y'all. So if y'all, I'm not saying yay or nay, but I'm like, let's at least explore some options. You got the best market. You got Dan. They have the product. Let me bring up some. You know what? That's my show. Shit. Let me bring up some product. This is gonna blow Dan's mind. Y'all, give me one of those. Give me a street.
Show. I'm controlling this right here. This is
our show. St. Louis. Wait till you see this product, Dan. This is gonna blow your mind. The product there.
What kind of price range you looking at?
30,000, 30, 40,000.
30,000.
Give me a neighborhood with all those two-story brick ones.
They say Penrose Avenue.
St. Louis, Kimrose.
Yeah, that'd be 30,000.
Penrose, P as in Paul.
Oh, Prem PR.
Penrose, PENROSE.
Okay, Penrose. Sorry about that.
How many people we got on here, Kris?
60 people.
60 people. We giving out information that can make people millionaires, and all we have is 60 people.
Everybody gonna come running to say
no. Tell them wait. No.
All 60 people at their when they talking New Year's party, You know what? What's your New Year's resolution? I'm gonna make shitloads of money because I'm gonna listen to Dan Borrero and Kris Haskins, and you should do the same. Make sure you share with this channel. We do this every single Sunday night, people.
Yeah.
What is this doing this?
All right. That's
Definitely,
right.
definitely.
What is Missouri's MS, right?
MO.
M-O.
Dana, James, tell everybody how much you learned in my mentorship class.
Oh my gosh, so much. Oh, we've gotten so much. Every week is, if it's not tons of nuggets, it's at least a few nuggets. So it's
tell everybody
it's amazing.
how much does it cost you to be there?
$0. Now, my only thing, I wish I could have been at that gathering that you had. I just wish we were able to be there. So I think
I want everyone here to
with
know
us being your favorite,
it is free
I
to
was
come
going to
to
say,
my
with us being your
class.
favorite students, I think USA Land Ventures ought to sponsor our ticket for the next one.
I think you ought to sponsor my ticket to go out to St. Louis and check out some properties. Considering all the free information.
Hey.
You may just do that now.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, it can work.
Look at this product. Dan likes these old product, these old
I love those old builds.
Look at the craftsmanship on this shit, dude.
That is unbelievable.
Look at the brick. Can you see this? Look at this
I
brick
love
work.
that type of work.
Look at this right here, dude. They got brick. Look, brick up and down. They got all. Look at this. Look at this band going around in here, dude. Huh? It's a 3.2. But look at the price.
Those prices look like they've increased.
Yeah, they're higher. Something's
What's the
going on.
price?
This
Yeah,
is
that was
just
like
one.
75.
Look at this house, though. I know Dan loves this construction here.
I would love it if it was a 3-family. I'm not going to buy a 1-family. No.
I'm just saying the construction. I know. I mean, it's a lot of different. We can search here all day. I'm just saying.
You can go on Palm and get the 4 families.
Yeah. I wanted Dan to see. Let me see. This is not the ones, but anyway, those are the types of houses that are there. James and Dana, please, my email's below. I just want to know more about St. Louis. I think that it is a gold mine for seller financing to finance other investors. My mentor wrote the book. Do you have the book? Do you have his book?
Which book is that?
Which one?
Email me. I'll send you his book. I'll send you the link. You can get his book. You have to. Where you're at, you buy them for 30, sell them for 90.
Which book?
I'll send you the link. Buy them for 30, selling them for 90 with seller financing 30 years. You get 10 of those. You're done.
Oh, Scott Jelenic.
Scott Jelenic. You already got everything? You already got his stuff?
No, we don't have it.
We don't have the book, but we've heard him. I'm on his email.
Okay, cool. So I'll give you a link to the book if you want to get it. But listen, dude, buy it for 30.
Okay.
Listen, Dan, when was the last time you bought anything for $30,000?
It's been a long time.
So I'm just saying this, James and Dana. I promise y'all, I'm gonna say it one last time, let you go. You're in the best market in the country, dog.
Okay.
30 grand.
Yeah.
Buy it. Stop being landlords. Don't worry about the city. Let the owner deal with the city. Let the owner deal with the tenant. You collect the check. Be the bank. Be the bank. All right, we going. Send me an email.
All
right.
Thank you, guys. Love you all. Happy New Year.
Everybody here, we do this every single Sunday night at 8 p.m.
One more call.
30 and 8. You got a call waiting?
No, 2 people said they want to come in.
Yeah, come in. This is the phone number you could call, 757-204-1332. Put up our websites if you don't mind, Kris. I host a free mentorship class every single Wednesday night at 8 p.m. We give out tons of free information. It's free to sign up. It's free to attend. Just go to danielborrerojr.com.
I got to get your website, Dan. Shoot.
Call from
Hey, caller. You're on the line with Kris and Dan. Please state your name and where you're calling from. Hold on, man. I lost you. Darn it, this thing. For some reason, my technology is going bad tonight. 1 second.
Someone's asking on IG, how long did it take to develop my team? On
Caller,
average, it
one
takes
second, Dan. Put your name and your name and where you're calling from. Caller, go ahead.
Jordan Kisler from Philadelphia.
Jordan, go ahead, Dan. What were we saying?
So someone's asking how long did it take me to develop my team when I'm
Years.
over from another state. It's an ongoing process, but it took me about 12 months to get a really good team, solid team.
Took me years.
Yeah.
Jordan, what you got, boss?
All right, so I am currently trying to build a portfolio doing the Bird method, but I am seeing some. So I'm seeing some properties that are turnkey in Philadelphia, but they're like in the slums. So like on paper, it looks like it would be a big profit.
What is the definition of turnkey?
I've
Jordan?
never. Well, you know, basically,
I don't.
rehabbed already. You know,
I don't
kitchen
know.
is there. Like you know, someone can live in the first day I purchase. Basically,
So it's been fixed up to fair market value.
yes.
All right. Go ahead, buddy.
So my question really is regarding like Section 8 and how they operate. So they have like prices listed for like Philadelphia County, like what they're willing to pay for the bedrooms and stuff like that per bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if Section 8 is really, is it a difference in what they'll actually pay you depending on where the property is located?
Absolutely. Yep.
Because like in some zip codes are, these zip codes, like you might have some areas that are okay, and then you might have some areas that are like really like the hood, like where it's like one-sided parking on the street, very slim blocks. But there are certain properties that are on these blocks.
Okay.
There's certain properties that are on these blocks that are like rehab, but it's like a really slum area.
Yeah, the parking in the streets aren't going to determine what the rent is. They're going to just look at what we call a rent reasonableness. They're going to look at whatever.
Say that one more time.
They're going to do something called a rent reasonableness test. Rent reasonableness test.
Okay.
They don't give a crap about the street and how wide it is, or if it's parking or not. Or do they, Dan? Do they care about that?
No, not that I know.
They're going to look and see what are the other people paying, and if you. Here's the problem, man. Every one of them is different. Dan's getting ready to tell you some horror stories about his Section 8 department, but where I live, they're great. And you can fight it. You can turn in other comparables in 3 of the cities where I live. In Newport News is another county where I live. They do not negotiate. So every municipality is different, my friend. Every one of them. Dan?
So what I would do is first do some research on a Section 8 for that county, right? So my experience in New York City is with Section 8. I don't have problems with my Section 8 tenants. My problem is the personnel at Section 8 office. It's like I've used this example a dozen times.
They hate Dan.
I'll call up and you're on the phone for 45 minutes, and then when they pick up, they're upset that you had the audacity to wait 45 minutes, and then they make you wait another half an hour, and they're nasty. They're just nasty people. And then my experience with my properties, let's say Cliffside Park, that I take Section 8 in New Jersey, they're always so pleasant. And when I send that caseworker an email in the morning, I get a response within the hour, or I'll get a phone call back, and they're more than happy to help resolve whatever the problem is. So, I don't have a problem with you taking Section 8. What I have a problem with is, the personnel at Section 8. So first, find out what kind of temperament, what kind of personality is how that office is run. That's number one. Number two, you also want to make sure you know what the rent roll is for that specific zip code for that area before you do your numbers. The other thing is you mentioned that.
How do I find that out?
Yeah. Well, Kris will tell you that. But the other thing is, you mentioned that the property's in the hood, but there's some properties on the block that are being renovated. That's actually a good thing. That means you're getting in on the ground level, right? So when you see other properties being renovated, that's actually a good thing. It's not something that's bad. It may be, you're buying where most of everyone else is too scared to buy yet. Now, when the area becomes really good, those prices go up, and now the investors that are buying there because it's really good, they're paying for the comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas that's going to be your profit margin, that comfort zone, right? That they were unwilling to go through in the beginning.
Yep.
But now, as far as how do you find out what the prices are in a specific area for Section 8, Kris is best to tell you that.
So Jordan, two things I'm going to tell you. How old are you, Jordan? You sound like a young guy.
I'll be 30 in like a week.
Oh wow! Happy birthday! Everybody tell Jordan happy birthday!
Happy
New
birthday.
Year, baby!
Thank you.
New Year, baby! I got underwear older than you, Jordan.
And really quick, I have one extra question. So I'm going through a rehab now, and I'm trying to figure out.
Wait a minute, Jordan. Jordan, don't leave that
Jordan.
question. You don't want to miss this one. This
Go
is where
ahead.
we
All
find out where you get the rents from. How you know how much people paying? Go to affordablehouse.com.
Okay.
Type it in. Look up what people charging. Right there. These are all people that have houses on Section 8. This is where they at. 900. Can't believe you can bring a place for $900 in Philly. So you type in what city, what part of the area? Tell me where to go. Where you at? You down here? You up here? Where you at?
So I don't have the specific zip code that I was referring to, but you can look at 19140.
191. All right, hold tight. Let's go back here. 19140.
Yes.
Damn, you can live in Philly for $800. Ooh. So
you can't.
Well, I can right here. If I got
like,
one bedroom, shit. I can too. Why you telling me I can't?
Oh yeah,
right
for
here?
1 year, 1 bedroom, yeah.
I promise you, I can go to this place right here and rent it right out. It's $800. So let's see. You got to know this stuff. I mean, it could be the best place, but shit, it's $800. So this is listed for Section 8, 1 bedroom. How many bedrooms you gonna be getting? Do you know?
3.
All right, let's go here then. We'll change to 3 bedroom. We got 40 rentals in this zip code. This is why I love Section 8. It'll tell you exactly what places are renting for. I can live in Philly for $1,300. Wow, this is crazy. Rent's here. Why is the rent so cheap there, Dan?
It's not really Philly. It's probably outside of Philly.
Oh, okay. Okay, you got 1,900. So these are.
No, that's 19140 Philly. That's North Philly.
Why is it so cheap up there? Jordan?
I'm not sure. Maybe because you're looking on affordablehousing.com. If you were looking on like Redfin or Zillow, you would see different prices.
Oh, really? Let's go see.
I want the audience to realize how much they have.
Do.
Like this is what we do. Exactly what Kris is doing right now is how quickly we switch over to a different website to check.
You're damn right. 191. What's the zip code?
Yeah, 19140.
Why is it not taking me to Philly? It's taking me to Detroit. Over Philly. Let's go for rent. It is not my experience that market rents are that much different than Section 8 rents. Exactly what I thought.
Yeah, they're right about,
yeah, about the same. Jordan, I want to make sure that we equip you with what you're doing. It's the same prices. $1,500, $900. I can live in Philly for $900. Is that not what? Oh, you said you want 3 bedroom. Jordan, you with me?
Yep, I'm with you.
All right, so just don't think because it's on Section 8 that it's going to be cheap at rental. Is that fair?
Yep.
All right, $1,300. Why rent so cheap, Jordan? I still want to know. They're exactly the same.
Well, I mean, I don't know why the prices are what they are.
You just told me because of the Section 8. That's what you just told me.
Say that again.
I'm giving you a hard time, young man. I asked you earlier why I rent so low. You said because it's Section 8. Now we go to on market, and I'm asking you why they're low, and you were saying what?
Well, I mean, I don't know why the prices are what they are. I'm just, we just know what the market is, and we try to price it for that.
Yeah, but how? Okay, Jordan.
This is Philly for $1,200.
You didn't tell us. How do you know
I
what
think we're kind of straight. Huh?
Section 8 will tell you what they're paying in that specific zip code for a 3-bedroom apartment. You don't have to guess it. Just go to Section 8. They'll tell you.
No, so let me reframe the question. So my question was, Section 8 advertises what they'll pay you for a specific property, or depending on the bedroom count and stuff like that. My question was, will that advertised price decrease if the property is like in a more slum area than
No, because the price they're going to pay
neighborhood?
you, no, the price they're going to pay you is going to be based on the zip code. If you give them the zip code, they're going to tell you what they're paying in that zip code. It's irrelevant whether it's a slum area or not. It's by zip code.
They don't care. They're gonna go right here.
Okay. So that's all I wanted to know.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying, why did I think you were buying a turnkey property and we didn't know what the rents were going to be?
That's what he did say. What you saying?
Yeah. I'm sorry. All right, let's move on. What's your next other question you had? It was something about
okay.
It's the hot seat, dog. Come on, we got 50 years of real estate here. We gonna get you straight. We love you. It's your birthday too. We don't want you making a mistake. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my next question was, if you put carpet in the property as opposed to the flooring, would that affect the appraisal? Like, will your property appraise less if you use carpet?
Listen, the nicer the property, you're going to get slightly more value. But carpeting for a place,
affordable housing,
I would never put carpet down.
That's not the question, though. Is it going to change your appraisal? No. No. I think you get no value for flooring.
Jordan, this is really important. Come to my mentorship class. We teach this stuff. When you want to be in the rental side of the business, any repairs or renovations you do is strictly based on how is it going to make your life easier as a property manager and a property owner. Carpeting is never going to make your life easier. It's always going to have to be replaced when people leave, right? Not everybody, you can't assume everybody's going to live the way I would live or you would live. They're not, right? And carpeting is not something that's durable enough for traffic or people that are not or just don't care how they live, meaning dirty wise, especially if they have pets, right? So, I don't ever recommend putting down carpeting.
But
okay,
Jordan, that's not to say you can't, and it's not going to change your appraisal. If that's what you wondering, it ain't going to change. Appraiser's not going to give you 10 grand more. If it's a bedroom, it's a bedroom. Shit, they don't care. All right, Jordan, we love you. Happy birthday. Okay. We'll talk to you.
Thank you,
Jordan. Great question.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Where else is Jordan going to get hard? Where else is Jordan going to get these type of? Listen to this. Agnes, I need help selling my rental properties in Dallas on seller financing. I am tired of working as a landlord. Dan?
Where's the property, she said?
Dallas, Texas. Tired of being a landlord.
So before doing owner financing in any,
first of all, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Dan. I'm just happy to
before doing seller financing in any municipality, I would first speak to an attorney, foreclosure attorney, and say, hey, foreclosure attorney, I need an ironclad mortgage and an ironclad note. That's number one.
Well, don't forget, seller financing, you can still do a land contract. It ain't got to be all like that. I'm just saying.
Well, it all depends on the state, county, and the city. So the other thing is, I'm going to say to that attorney, hey, if I should have to foreclose, how long would it take me and how much is it going to cost me, right? So now I would never do seller financing in the city of New York because it could take me 7 years to foreclose on somebody.
Okay.
And if I collected $100,000 up front as a down payment, it may cost me $200,000 to foreclose. Right? So these are the numbers. You have to know your numbers.
Oh, 1 second, caller. 1 second.
Decision on doing seller financing. and you better know what the time the time it's going to cost you in legality and legal issue and legal process in navigating the legal process before you start doing seller financing in any area.
Caller, you're on the line with Kris and Dan. Please state your name and where you're calling from. Hold on. Why does my phone? 1 second, brother. My phone keeps, for some reason, it keeps disconnecting. I don't know why. Connected, disconnected. I know why. I got those new Meta glasses. I'm sorry. What's your name? You from Atlanta? Give me your name.
Yeah, hey, this is Ali calling out of Atlanta.
How are you?
Thank you for calling. We're not going to scream on you too hard, man. What you got going on, brother?
Hey, man, salute to you guys. You guys are like my family I never met. So I know you guys are trying to get out of here. So I'll make it quick.
Dan ain't doing nothing tomorrow. You know, he takes off last 2 weeks of the year, but he ain't doing shit.
Yeah, okay. Right. Shit, last 2 weeks of the year is when I make my deals. You kidding me? I got a closing on Tuesday.
All right. What you got?
Yeah. Okay, guys. I've been thinking of making a pivot. One thing I've never done, I do have about 7 or 8 doors in Alabama that I own outright.
Oh, man. You got some of those cheap houses out there.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, about 6 of them are in like C, D class neighborhood. I'm getting a Section 8 income, but I got Section 8 type of issues with that type of. Yeah, I can't. I would love to do the Dan Borrero screening on them, but then if I did that, they all would be empty. So I do the best that I can.
All right, let's put a pin in that because I want to know why you're not financing things. But go ahead.
Okay, well, Kris, I've never done a self-finance, and my question, to be specific, is I was thinking about letting 2 or 3 of them go, and then maybe buying in maybe a C or B class neighborhood.
Why?
Just to possibly be able to attract a better quality of tenant or a better quality of life. Thought. But I wanted to run it by you. So it's actually a 2-ended question. One is about seller financing, because I've never done. And the other is your thoughts on upgrading the neighborhood to get a better quality of life.
Look at Dan.
You want to go first?
Here's the thing, Ali. First of all, when's your birthday? You got a birthday coming up too?
Yes. It's coming up January 9th, man.
Woo!
Yeah. I watch all of you guys live, man. I watch all of you guys live. You guys are, if you know type of content. So I don't want you guys to ever get discouraged. It's just that the masses are not ready for y'all stuff. And that's the reason why most people rent and they don't own. So y'all please keep doing what y'all doing, man.
Thank you.
Oh, listen, we just ask you, people like you and everyone else on here, share the fact when you're around your friends, they want to learn this business, they could come on every single Sunday night and watch us both. I would appreciate that. That's the only thing we ask in return. Look, the reality is this. If you sell a finance, you will not have the proceeds to go buy your B-class properties.
Hold on, Dan. Don't say that, because I do. You know how I do.
Yeah, but he's gonna need time to accumulate those payments, Kris.
Hold up. All right. No, don't forget, this is me and Dan. We get to go with each other a little bit. All right, Dan. You know, I financed mine out and I got lines of credit against them. So I got the money and I got the fucking payments. So I want to make sure we're all clear how this thing works.
You're 100% right. I don't do it the way Kris does. Kris, let's go by how we each do it.
Yeah. Either way, let's just say what's possible. Forget how we do it. Forget either one of them.
No, we can't forget how we do it, because that way the audience can figure out who they can resonate with more and what they feel most comfortable with, right?
That's true.
Guys, I want you guys to know this is how Kris and I talk to each other when we're on the phone.
It's worse. It's worse than that. It's worse. Yeah,
it's worse. They're like the F-bombs going across
this
the table.
This is the PG.
Yeah, this is the PG.
Yeah.
So I would do it is I don't do it like Kris does. It is I want my money because I'm gonna go. That's my next down payment. right? Now,
that's legit.
There are times when I'm not looking to go buy something else, but I want to offset my taxes, right? So I say, you know what? Give me 30,000. Property cost me 40 or 30. I got back my original investment, right? I've been renting it out for the last 5 years. So between the down payment and the rent I've collected, I'm good.
You out.
Right? And let's say I'm selling it for 100,000, right? I'm financing my profit money at 9% interest or 8% interest. And then I'm only paying on the interest that I'm collecting for that year and only on the portion of the principal I collected on the capital gains. Now, the problem with that is that, let's say they're paying me.
They got to feel that for a minute, Dan. Repeat that, man. Repeat that. They got to feel
that. I know, right?
I'm only paying taxes on what?
So I'm only paying taxes on the portion of the principal that was collected, right? Because that's so now.
Maybe y'all felt that.
Now, plus I got you on the interest, right? But the interest is charged at a different tax rate.
Tax rate.
Now, but if I'm only collecting $1,000 a month, and I only collected 30,000 as a down payment, is that 30,000 going to be enough to put down on that B class? That's number one. And if it's not, how many $1,000 a month payments do I have to collect to add to the 30,000 to then so that I'd have enough to go put down as a down payment on that B class? Now, that's the way Dan Borrero will look at it. Now, the way Kris does it is totally different. You may like the way Kris does it. Kris, tell them how you do it.
Well, you can do a mixture of the two. So how we do it was we buy them. Yes, we get them paid off. Obviously, the goal is to get them paid off. Yours are paid off, right?
Yeah, mine are paid off over there.
Here's the thing, man. There's nothing wrong with leveraging those properties. I am 49. I turned 49 this month. And my stomach, thank you, my stomach to this day hurts. I'm telling you, dude, it hurts from all the property that I've sold. I feel like a schmuck, right? I'm just looking at all the doors that I've, I can't remember them all, but I remember a few, and I'm like, Kris, and even Dan.
We can't keep everything, man. It's because if we don't have an infinite amount of money, we're selling those doors to generate money to buy other deals.
That's true. I'm thinking of certain ones. I
call that keeping the party going.
Keep the party going, right? So let's say if you own these free and clear, you could always borrow against them. You can sell them, and still you can own the financing.
I just thought about something. Why does he do owner financing to his tenants?
Yeah, you say you do sell the finance, but forget. We're going to get to that part. But you want the money, though, right? You want some capital, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah, I want to get the money. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
You got some money. Go ahead. Why not just either you can do that DSCR thing, which I don't do, but we borrow money from regular people and put them in first position. Like I'll say, Dan, I need 80,000. I got a house here, man. You mind if I borrow 80 grand? He'll loan me the money. I promise you, Dan will loan money based on a house. If it's worth 80, he'll loan me 50 all day. He won't even think about it because he's going to foreclose on me if I don't pay it back. So I keep I keep people's IRAs as lines of credit on all my rental property. So whenever I need money, I just send an email and it's done. And I'm not saying you got to go that far, man, but just think about how you can leverage them and sell them to somebody else. You can sell them with debt on them.
Okay. And that's one of the things, guys, I've been afraid, and maybe I need to get out of that, but I'm a little afraid to, because when I started off, I didn't have any money. So I came in the game completely leveraged. And over time, I would flip and gradually pay stuff off.
Scary.
I just have this, I won't say scary, this apprehension of getting over leverage, because I came in the game over leverage and I worked hard to get to where I am. But at the same coin, the flip of the coin is now I have this net worth with the asset value, but I get low on cash. So it's the catch-22,
But don't forget, you're talking to two debt-averse guys. Me and Dan, we paid all our joint. We trying to get out of debt too. So we're on your side. It's like we only use debt just to buy new. Well, let me ask Dan, Do we use debt to buy new assets?
I use my own money now.
If you had to, you use debt to buy new assets.
I would, yes. Matter of fact, I'm gonna fall short with all the deals I'm closing before the end of the year. I ain't gonna have no more cash.
So you go get some debt.
I'm actually gonna hit my home equity line tomorrow.
So Ali, don't be mad. I don't necessarily like the fact of you getting home equity loans, but if you can get some lines of credit on these joints, that way you got the cash flow and you got the money, dude.
You know, you get the lines of credit, you got the money to move when you need to move, but you're only gonna pay interest on the money that you use when you use it. So right now, I have a lot of credit for like 700 and change. I'm not using it, so I haven't used it in 2 years. I haven't paid any interest on it, but it's there when I need it. And case in point, this week I need it.
Okay. And does that go like a DSCR? Does that go strictly based on the home value, or do they also have to go into your credit profile to do a HELOC?
Credit profile to see how you pay your bills, and they go subject to whether the property has enough rent roll to justify the amount of money that you're asking.
Okay.
Hey Ali, what do you do for a living? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, no problem, man. I started off in healthcare, and then we spoke before. We did the consult call about a week or so ago, but I've been following you guys religiously for quite a while.
You know what, Ali? I thought you sound familiar, man, but I didn't want to call it out. So and I want to share that with everyone. So I have my mentorship Unleashed, and I do my free mentorship class. I do every Wednesday for those of you that are new on here. And Ali we did a free I think it wasn't a free one, it was a $97 one, was it?
It was a paid call.
Yeah. So we have that available for anyone on here that wants to do that. Kris, put up our websites if you don't mind.
I need to type them up.
My website is danielborrero.com. It usually comes out when
but I got the names. I got to take the names down. There you go. My bad.
There you
go to Dan's website. Ali, you're in the healthcare business.
Yeah. I started off in the healthcare business, and I work like nobody else. There's a lot of parallels with you guys. When you all tell your story, I can relate to y'all on a lot of levels. So I used to work 7 days a week when it wasn't a cool thing to do, when Atlanta was cheap and everybody was partying and relaxing. And I was able to, have a good enough credit score and buy 3 or 4 properties, to get started. And then, flip, get a rental, flip, get a rental. And then, like, before the pandemic, I kind of retired. But then I ran into a lot of unforeseen stuff hit me. So now I've recently started working again just to try to get my reserves up, because I've been holding on and not sold anything or haven't pulled any money out.
So you're in the healthcare business
but
now?
I'm still technically, I kept my license. I didn't give it up. So I had to go back to work. During COVID, if you didn't take the shot, and I don't really care if people took it or not, but if you didn't take the shot, they would pretty much say, you don't have to, but we'll fire you.
Yeah.
But luckily at that point, I had enough cash flow that I was able to be fired and okay with it. And I kind of sat out from like 19 to about 4 or 5 months ago. And but I never gave up my license to answer the question.
So 2 things, Ali. I would definitely, if you can, take some of your rent. If you can, what I learned over the years, don't spend all the rent on expenses. Try to take some of that rent and turn it into capital that you're going to buy something new. Cool. Dan, would you agree to that?
I didn't say anything.
I
didn't say anything.
So take some of that. You got it. I know this shit's it's challenging to do, even for me. I'm like, shit, I want to, because I was taught spend it all, right? But now I'm like, damn, why do I need to save it to keep acquiring new assets? Some of the rent. Other thing was, dude, leverage your road behind you. Dan and I both learned from Alex Hermosi, like, you have got a healthcare industry road behind you, dude. Leverage that shit and go talk to people and raise money. You can raise money from people.
He's got road beyond him. He's got a real estate entrepreneur.
Yeah. Multiple doors. Paid off real estate. How many people have?
You obviously have a road behind you of clearly illustrating that you're responsible with money, that you have a relationship with money. that you have a proven track record of overcoming challenges when it comes to money, right? These are all assets on that road behind you that you could demonstrate to people why you're worthy of those loans.
Borrow money from people, Ali. Please, dude. Just talk. You'll be doing them a favor. I promise you, I had the same talk with exact same talk with Dan. Exact same talk. I'm like, look, man, you're the perfect guy. Dan is a perfect guy to loan money to. This is a perfect, he don't need it. Like Ali, you don't even need it. When people loan me money, I don't even need it. I mean, sometimes I get into a jam, but I'm like, look, so you're doing a favor. So go out there, raise some money. If you don't have it, get my private lending training. It's right on my website. You got to have the training so you can get it. All right.
Thank you, Ali.
Thanks, Ali.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Much appreciated. All right, guys. So, Kris, man, we've been on here an hour and 45 minutes.
I'm enjoying it. I'm actually going to sleep in.
I know when you're enjoying it because you ain't saying we got to go. We ain't got to, I know you when you're enjoying it. When you ain't enjoying it, we got to go. So everyone,
stop messing with me. Wake your butt up. We got
every single Sunday
it's
night.
one.
Right. We will be back. We will be back next Sunday.
All right.
Kris has how many videos you have on your YouTube channel?
Thousands. Well, maybe 1,400, I think.
1,400. He's got over. What's your subscription base, Kris?
150,000. We crossed the
150,000 subscribers. You don't have 150,000 subscribers because he's good looking. He has 150,000 subscribers because of the information he's given. So, go to Kris Haskins YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. Go to my Instagram channel, USA Land Ventures. Literally spread the wealth of knowledge by sharing with everybody you speak to this week when you're at your holiday parties and New Year's parties. You want to learn this business? Go watch Kris Haskins and Dan Borrero do their live every single Sunday night. Join my IG channel. If you want to join my free mentorship class, go to danielborrowjr.com. You can sign up. It's free to sign up, free to attend. There's so much information. Not only that, there's a lot of networking that's happening due to chat on that Wednesday night classes.
That's right.
Kris, brother, it's always a pleasure sharing the screen with you, man.
All right, Dan. January, we got to put together the New York class, dog.
Yeah, man. So Kris and I are coming up with a class. I was thinking maybe we just do it online. Let's ask people. Would you rather come to it? If we do the class, it will have to be 2 straight days, and it's going to be intensive learning, or we could do it over a period of several weeks on Zoom. What would you?
Would you rather have Zoom? All right, I'll send my class out for that because I need to. Dan, the stuff I was thinking about you I think I called you when I bought that cabinet liner for my cabinet. I mean,
yeah,
yeah. That little thing will save you. Like,
tell everybody what you could. So Kris came out to one of my New York properties. I was doing some work, and he asked me why I put it. It's called weather mats.
I'll pull it up here.
So guys, the weather mats you would get for your cars, the WeatherTech mats for your cars. Well, WeatherTech also sells them for underneath the cabinets, your kitchen.
This is
cabinets.
crazy.
And they come different colors. They come gray, they come black, they come beige. I get the black ones. And they come to they have one that you could cut down to the exact size of the cabinet as well.
You can trim them, yeah.
Yeah. So
this just
they're not very expensive. You could get
$20.
Well, if you get the Amazon ones. Yeah, I get the WeatherTech ones.
What's the difference?
The quality. I mean, to be honest with you, it's pretty much will probably do the same thing.
So the WeatherTech was going to be. You saying it's more sturdy?
It's going to be much more expensive, though.
Oh, really?
Oh, go on to WeatherTech. You'll see.
Oh, maybe they got WeatherTech. Maybe they got them here. WeatherTech. Okay. Oh, they're $50.
Yeah. $25.
This was $50.
There you go.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's way. You can already tell. Does yours? This one doesn't even bend, does it, Dan?
It bends, but it's very sturdy. But you could cut it according to the side. You see the lines on there?
Yeah, right here. You can go. You can come in some. You can come in like right. Oh shit! Come on.
Yeah.
You can come in right here.
Yeah, they're very. But so Chris asked you why I put those in. I says, well, think about this, Chris. If there's a leak now, my whole new cabinet, because it's a new kitchen. Now I got to replace the wood underneath that cabinet, and it's going to cost me $200 between material and the labor, and it's not going to be part of the original cabinet. So for $30, $50, I'm getting that extra layer of protection. But this is the best part. It's letting my tenants know, hey, Dan Borrero cares about the quality of his material. Dan Borrero cares keeping his his kitchen looking good. These little things also, are letting the tenant know that you as a landlord care about the small detail things, right? And it sets the expectation of what kind of behavior you expect from them.
That's a good point.
It's not saying it verbally, but it's demonstrating it. It's like I tell people,
take care of stuff.
I tell people, I have 4 kids, right? And I never said to my kids, listen, I don't want you to drive home intoxicated, but yet they saw me get intoxicated and drive home. I don't want to, I've never told my kids, I don't want you to smoke, but I come home and smoke a pack of cigarettes because I don't smoke. I don't tell my kids, I don't want you to smoke pot, but then me and my wife come home from work and we go in the bedroom, smoke a joint. No, people learn from your actions. You want to lead by example. Don't lead with words. So these are the small little things that we do in our apartments. That Chris actually called me up. That's the conversation we had, right, Chris?
Well, when I put it under there, I'm like, dude, it's amazing what a little bit of water will do to wood. Like I learned this years ago. Like it doesn't take much. Just if it sits on the wood for a day, it can really mess it up. So this one thing can save your cabinet, dude.
Not only that, it's like when people put their detergents or their soaps or their Brillo,
right through the thing,
it leaves rings on the cabinet floor. I don't want to see that. Those are brand new cabinets. I want to keep them looking brand new. So I put those mats underneath the kitchen sink and underneath the bathroom sink.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. All right, y'all. We'll see you. Make sure you hit that like button. Share this with other people so they can hear the stories, what other people are doing, other ideas. Because usually, Dan, most of the people that I consult with, coach and train, they don't have a sounding board at their jobs or at their homes or at the family. They don't have the way to bounce these ideas around.
Nope, they don't. So join us, guys, every Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday night. Good night.